on in its development, was forced out of the biggest market that it had, and had to regroup in offshore jungles and small little islands. And it's still booming. So, you know, the fact that all of you are at the sharp end of that business model, where you drive the players to the branded sites, you ensure the numbers stay in this high volume business. I come here with a shared sentiment of millions of players, and we need to acknowledge your success and say thank you to all of you, because what you've done is created a huge business for all of us to take advantage of. And a lot of you know, my career in poker is directly created by what you've done. And my background was in marketing and promotion of celebrities as an agent, but poker was something that I had always done. I'd always played at home, or when I was in college, we'd play in our dorm rooms. But for most of my family and friends, it was just a social pastime. This was, you know, let's say 10 years ago and more, where I didn't really even acknowledge or was aware that you could play online. But I was fortunate enough to grow up in a family that loved games. We would play bridge and backgammon and poker, and to me and to us, these were games of skill. You know, you balance your mathematical prowess with your intuitive reads, but this was not just simple gambling. We almost never played for money. It had nothing to do with that. It was about the love of the game. I was always encouraged. I grew up with my grandparents, which I think was really fortunate, and they encouraged me. My grandfather was a master gin rummy player. I used to sit on his lap when I was 3 years old. The way I learned how to count, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace. That's when I was 3 years old. You know, my mother tells us a very embarrassing story, but it is true. That's how I learned how to count. So you could say for sure, you know, cards and games and poker are really in my blood. But thanks to online gaming, we have the ability to play 24/7. We can see more hands than were otherwise ever available. And you can elevate just the average player to a standard of play as the best players in the world. And where else can you immediately enter a world and challenge the best of that profession from your laptop, anywhere you are? You know, it's a pretty amazing, extraordinary thing. And I don't think that people have even, you know, really understood that it's a possibility. I've had so many people ask me, you know, what do you have to do to be allowed to play in the World Series of Poker? That people don't even understand that anyone, as long as you put up the money or you play online and you win a satellite, you can play. But it's amazing how little that people who don't play all the time know about our business. So to me, it means that, yeah, maybe there are between 10 and 50 million people playing in America, but I believe that there could be 100 million people playing in America, which obviously translates to all of the other countries where all over the world, I don't see any reason why there couldn't be 200, 300, 400 million people playing online consistently if people were just a little more aware and a little less afraid of what they don't know about online. Now, you know, when I played, I was lucky enough to be involved, as Michael had said, that in the biggest payout, not just in poker, but in any sport in the world. There's never been a time where somebody's won $12 million just playing, and if you can help sell that dream to people, that was the dream for me. I knew that there was going to be an extraordinary amount of money. I didn't know how much, but I was dreaming about $1 million, and then all of a sudden it became $12 million. And if you can figure out how to sell that dream, I think that's a really important way to get people to come and play. It's not just as simple as when you tell them, you know, I'll give you your rake back, or I'll give you $600 free for putting up $600. All they think is, so in other words, I can lose $600. You know what I mean? They think of it as just a simple gamble. They don't believe or understand that there's a true dream out there that you could become. I was just like almost anyone else. You know, I played poker a lot and I worked really hard at it, but I am part of that dream that you can easily sell to people. It was really when my attention, you know, when Chris Moneymaker won, that was a big thing. And when I saw the movie Rounders and realized that there was a World Series of Poker, I didn't even know that there was a World Series of Poker. I didn't know you could go and win $1 million in Las Vegas just by playing poker. So that's really what did it for me. The TV was the draw, but I gained a lot of my skill in casinos, and then online poker gave me so much of the ability to practice and have the confidence to go and play, you know, in the biggest tournament in the world. So I really just wanted to take advantage of the fact that you could play so inexpensively, win a seat online, and then go and make, just like Chris Moneymaker did, go and make millions of dollars. It was just really exciting to me. So I became a student of the game. I read every book I could possibly get my hands on. I sat down with a couple of famous and successful pros and asked them how they did it. And then I tried to follow in their footsteps. And yeah, I had a lot of very small success. I kept winning, in my little local casinos. I would win, $5,000, $10,000, but I was winning these tournaments all the time. And I finally realized, wow, that maybe I would have a shot. But I still didn't have the confidence until I started playing online and I started playing so many hands that I really believed that I could do it. And then one very famous pro said that he had believed that nobody had ever done what I was doing, meaning talking people in and out of their hands at the tables, that he thought I could actually really win the big one. And that's when I went. After I was fortunate enough to win, $12 million, the rest, all the good of it, the bad of it, and some very misinformed, what people call themselves are members of the media, but I believe that, that these days there are so many people who have no background in journalism, who don't do their homework, who just report whatever it is that they feel like reporting, and people love to create stories about what they believe might be the negative side of something. I'm very blessed that finally people, it seemed, have figured out the truth, and that not only did I not do anything wrong, but I was actually taken advantage of, and that members of the media who had said really negative things about me, because I decided not to respond, people figured, oh, well, you must be guilty of something. Well, I just had, I had a little of, a much larger issue of what was happening. People said, you haven't been a good ambassador of the game. This was, a year ago, when they didn't understand what was happening in my life. My father was dying. He had 6 months left to live. Right after I won, I understood that the world of poker would have loved it if I just went on tour and went around the world and told everybody how great the game of poker was. That's great, but that's not where I wanted to spend my time. I wanted to spend the last 6 months of my life with my father, of his life with him. And then my mother got sick, and so I spent 3 months taking care of her. And I don't regret anything that I did for that year. So yes, I kind of lost the year and the ability to be an ambassador for the game, but I feel like I've made up for it. In the year after that, I decided to work for as many charities as I possibly could that wanted to have poker events. And I would invite all of my friends that are very famous celebrities and all of the most famous poker players, and everyone showed up. It's amazing to me that people don't realize how generous and charitable the poker community is. I believe that the poker community spends more money per average player and per average person than any other business in the world. Yes, there are a lot of businesses that are very charitable, but it's usually the large corporations that have billions of dollars that are, well, they're donating $100,000. That's wonderful. But I'm talking about poker players who maybe only have $10,000 to their name are donating $1,000 to a charity. To me, that is a much more powerful statement of who they are and how generous they are. And I think it's a pretty amazing thing. I think that more should be made of the fact that this industry has brought games of skill and chance up a notch by providing the ability for the average person to live the kind of dream that I've lived. And I also think that online poker is what's funded these hugely popular television shows. They take a lot of credit on television for being the ones bringing poker out. But if there was no online poker, where would they get the money to fund all of these television shows? So I think that the genius of the television shows is directly related to all of the work that you do by creating all of these online sites and making them, the businesses that they are. The concept of online gaming seemed destined to be a winner, but it's clear to me that the mammoth growth was accelerated further through these affiliate programs. And affiliates, I think, have been ingenious. And the incentive marketing and the ways that they have created to get players to their sites are really, really smart in such an incredibly competitive industry.